I spent most of my life trying to outrun that trauma, not realizing that I had developed also some really challenging mental health conditions that needed professional help. So, what I ended up finding was a path of isolation, a path of destruction, addiction, suicide attempts, all of that. The event that changed everything was a near death experience where I drowned in my swimming pool.
Yes.
So I came back from that, realizing that everything I thought was important to me didn't matter. Nothing mattered. What mattered was love. Love. And I realized that in my efforts to stand back up and to outrun the ugly things that had happened to me, it was actually love that could
Mm.
heal me.
That realization changed everything after that. You can spend years building a life that looks successful while quietly falling apart inside. You keep moving, keep achieving, keep pretending you're okay, because stopping would mean feeling everything you've spent years avoiding: the grief, the anger, the loneliness, the exhaustion of carrying pain no one else can see. And sometimes life interrupts you in ways you never expected: a moment, a loss, a wake up call, something that forces you to ask, if none of this actually heals me, then what will? Get ready to reclaim your life, discover inspiring stories, practical tools, and the path to true happiness. This is Reclaim Your Life with Irina. Let's begin the journey. Welcome to the show. You've walked through profound adversity and transformed those experiences into a mission of helping people break through limitations, reconnect with themselves, and create a life of deeper purpose and abundance. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. I admire your work and particularly, in visiting with you before the podcast. It's funny how life works, right? It's like you're running along, everything's great, and then bam, you get hit from something out of left field, right? Like that's kind of what's happening in my life right now with one of my daughters, and it certainly has shaken up our world. It's like it's just life, right? But I think the key is no matter what happens, you got to be able to balance, right? You have to be able to balance in the moment without losing your crap, which is something that has taken me an entire lifetime to learn how to do, to not
Yeah.
lose my crap when I get hit with this. So, yes, grateful to be here and thankful for you, thankful for the work that you do in helping people stand back up and hearing those success stories, of being a single parent and all those other things. So no, I applaud you and I thank you for the work that you do. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Thayne, every transformation story usually begins with a moment that changes the trajectory of life. What was the wake up call that made you realize you could no longer continue living the way you were?
Yeah, so that for me was literally a wake up call where I lost my life. I had been running through life trying to outrun trauma. Okay. And my trauma started when I was a little kid. I was abused by people I went to church with that I should have been able to trust, but they then abused me and then judged me for moral cleanliness. So you can imagine how that messes up with a little boy's head. So I spent most of my life trying to outrun that trauma, not realizing that I had developed also some really challenging mental health conditions that needed professional help. I needed professional help, but I'd never gotten professional help. So what I ended up finding was a path of isolation, a path of destruction, addiction, suicide attempts, like all of that. That was the path that I understood. Again, just trying to stand back up again. So for me, the event that changed everything was a near death experience where I drowned in my swimming pool. And I was given some medication and I had an allergic reaction to it while swimming. I literally took the pill, hit the pool, had a seizure in the pool, could not swim, could not get out, and I drowned. That is exactly what happened to me. And so I had a profound near death experience where I left this consciousness, and whether people believe me or not doesn't matter to me because I believe it. And that's the only thing I care about is what I believe. So I came back from that, and I spent the last 2.5 years of my life unpacking that memory of where I went when I died and realizing that everything that I thought was important to me didn't matter. Nothing. Nothing mattered. Nothing. What mattered was love. That's it.
Totally.
Love. It was love. And I realized that in my efforts to stand back up and to outrun all the ugly things that had happened to me that had plagued me my whole life, it was actually love that could heal me. And that's what I found on the other side was just the most immense love that you can imagine. A love that I brought back with me and a love that said, okay, Thane, your life you can't keep going on the trajectory that you're on because it's not going to end well. So I kind of look at that near death experience as kind of my control alt delete of my life. Control alt delete, reboot this man. Cause I rebooted and walk in a different way. Like what matters to me, nothing matters except love and connection and people. That's what matters. And material things and the things that I carried, the things that I chased. Uh-uh. I'm not interested. That
What?
was for me. That was what did it.
Yeah. What happened when you were there on the other side? What did you see?
What did I see? Well, I
Or
first
fell?
yeah, well, I did like everybody else did. Eventually, so I've had a number of I've had one more when I was a little boy that happened from an abuser hurting me to the point that I choked out essentially from being abused. And so the first time I had an NDE, it was actually a child, and I did the whole go up the light thing. Like I felt that this time in the pool, I didn't get that. It wasn't the same experience. But what I would tell you is that the other side exists just like the reality here. So just like I'm talking to you and there's physical matter and it's arranged and this is the life, that's how heaven is as well. It can be, it is interactive. And what I will tell you is that the only thing that exists on the other side is love. It's just love and life review. Okay. Life review is real. I went through that. And the unique thing about life review is that you actually feel the emotions and feelings of other people. So as your life plays back to you, if you're say looking at a scenario from your life and it was a scenario where you didn't make a good choice and maybe you yelled at somebody, maybe you hurt somebody's feelings, when you're going through life review, you're going to feel the negative feelings that you created in other people.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
So the punishment, the balancing that happens when we die is reliving every moment and understanding the perspective of the opposite of you. So when you sow goodness into the world, what you experience is that goodness. I get to feel the hearts of the women and the men and the children and the animals that I loved while I was here on earth. I get to feel that. Conversely, I also feel when I hurt people. And I got to feel that negative energy that I put into the heart of somebody when I maybe used words that weren't appropriate. So you learn how every action and reaction we have here goes on forever. It is forever. So every negative word we speak lives forever. It does not go away. Just because we can't hear it doesn't mean that you can't detect it. And sadly enough, you also cannot take it back. So the only thing you can do is live your life in what I call a neutral way, because that's ultimately what I've learned in my life experience is that life is about balance. It's about staying in the present moment, right here, right now, because that's where the magic happens. The magic doesn't happen in our past because we can't change it. And the magic doesn't happen in the future because we also can't control that. But most people struggle to stay present. They're always thinking about the past and what they could have done different and judging themselves or judging themselves about a future that they think they're not prepared for. And they paint but none of it's true. And none of it has to happen. And none of it, it all goes away when we just stay in the present moment and learn to love unconditionally. Like, cause I was a total Karen, Arena. Like total Karen, right? Like I was privileged. I was a very successful business guy and traveling constantly. And I had people taking care of me constantly. And I wasn't always as appreciative as I should have been, you know? I made a lot of people cry in my life, mostly because I was angry and bitter. Bitter party of one. That was me. Bitter party of one, right? Today, no, I'm just a lover. I love people unconditionally. And I learned how to heal myself using neuroscience. So that little thing that happened to me in the pool was actually the thing that set me off down a path of discovery on how to heal myself because the medical didn't get the job done. Okay. I did the traditional therapy. I did the traditional psychologist, the psychiatrist, and their solution was 7 pillboxes. At the height of my madness, I was on 7 pillboxes to manage my day. And yet, that was all from doctors. Okay. So that's why you gotta pay attention. And I know that their intentions were good. Don't get me wrong. I love my therapists, my psychologists, my doctors. I'm appreciative of them. But I also know that there was a level of care that got missed because I ended up being over medicated and it ended up making me kind of like a vegetable. Like I didn't have original thought. I navigated life numb. Like that's what the psychiatric drugs had done to me. And then I started getting tardive dyskinesia where my face would begin moving uncontrollably. And that's not something that I was okay with. I wasn't comfortable with that because ultimately I realized it was coming from these medicines that these doctors were giving me. So I met with my doctor, my psychiatrist, and I told him I didn't want to take him, and he disagreed with me. And this was the same people who had me on 7 pillboxes. So I fired him. I literally fired every single one of them. I said, "You're fired immediately and done, gone. Never going to see me again." Okay. And I'm finding a new doctor. So I started with a new physician and a fresh sheet of paper. And I slowly went off of those drugs. Okay. I got off all of those drugs that had me trapped in my own mind. And then I began healing myself. But I healed myself with love. It was actually love. I learned one day I met a stranger. Okay, Arena. I met a stranger and I was trying to learn gratitude. I was trying to learn the word gratitude and wasn't successful. I had written sheets of paper and I'd write down everything I'm grateful for. That lasted a couple of days and then my patience got to me and I quit doing that. And then I downloaded an app and I tried being grateful using an app and eventually I felt like it was chastising me. So I deleted the app because I didn't feel good. Like, no, I don't need more people yelling at me that I'm not grateful. And then one day I met a stranger, and that stranger did something for me in kindness that she did not have to do. And so I thanked her in a way that I've never thanked anybody before. And I mean, genuine, heartfelt, deep appreciation because she did something for me that literally it would have been ugly had she not done what she did. And so I thanked her. And when I thanked her, I got this physiological response in my body that I'd never had before. And it was so profound that it made me weep. Like I started crying and I was crying happy tears. So they were tears of joy that I created with a perfect stranger because she did something kind for me and I did something kind for her unexpected. And because we were both unexpected, it surprised both of us here. And we both got what I now call a gratitude cocktail. Okay. And a gratitude cocktail is a physiological experience that I now teach people how to do it. Okay. Once you learn how to do it, it's like supercharging your heart with the most intense love you can find. It comes from up there. Okay. It comes from up there and everybody gets to define what that is. Okay. I know what that is because I died and I met that. So I understand what that is. Okay. Or who that is, if that's important to you. Okay. I will just say that my life today is very different, very different. I could have gone back to corporate America. I chose not to. I decided to study this little phenomena because it changed me. It literally changed me. And then I taught other people how to use this technique. And then it changed them. And then the next thing I know, I've got all these people that are now following me because I'm teaching them how to stand back up in life, and I'm teaching them with neuroscience because that's what I discovered. I discovered that there is a technique where we can essentially create a new neural network in our brain that is rooted in positive emotions, so pro-social emotions. And I've learned that if we structure learning in a very specific way, it results in rapid acceleration of this new neural network. And ultimately, it helps a person heal from within using light from up there and love that rests in your heart. So once you learn how to do this, you become a gratitude junkie. That's what I am. I am a gratitude junkie. I was the least grateful person on the planet. Okay. I was privileged and my life on the outside looked great. I was very successful, but on the inside, I was a mess. And how many people listening right now feel like that? Feel like, hey, the facade that I painted out there, this success that everybody thinks I am is very different from how I actually feel. Okay. And it's that disparity between how we actually feel about ourselves and what we project into the world. And that gap is energy. That gap takes time, effort, and literally energy to maintain. But the cost of maintaining that energy is your soul. Okay. Because you're not living your true self. And that's what ultimately it was for me, was realizing that my true self wasn't really who I was. And happiness comes when we're authentic in who we are. That's really what I found. So there you go. In a nutshell, there's my crazy life.
Totally. I love it. So kind of the three biggest lessons you learn as a result of your wake up call was finding love,
Yeah.
becoming the gratitude junkie, and
Yes.
what
Yeah.
was the last one?
Well,
That
all it's
everything is rooted in happiness.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so I will share this. I'm very popular on NDE podcasts right now. Everybody's following me on the near death experience stuff. And it's interesting. I get that. But the most important thing is what I learned from that experience. Okay. Because that's what I teach today. I teach people how to find abundant happiness and not wait for it. Okay. Don't make the mistake that I did, which was I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll be happy when I have more money. I'll be happy when I get, in a better relationship. I'll be happy. And you're always, I'll be. But the truth of the matter is you can be happy right here, right now, today. Happiness isn't a destination. It's a choice. Okay. It's a choice that we make. And I know that when people used to say to me, happiness is a choice, it used to piss me off. It used to make me really mad when people said that because my mind never let me choose happiness because I had a mind that had been programmed negatively from living a life of negativity, of constantly trying to stand back up, constantly having to defend myself. Well, I was trapped by my own subconscious mind. And until I learned how to change what was in my subconscious mind, I kept showing up as the same asshole. That's the truth. So how do I delete the asshole programming and become a kind, loving member of society? Well, we do that with neuroscience and we do it with love and we do it with kindness. And that's what I teach. But the three things that every human being needs to know. Okay. If we hang up the phone right now and you remember these three things walking away from this podcast, then it's going to be the most important podcast you've ever listened to in your life. Okay. These are the three things. The first one is unconditional love. On the other side, what is asked and what is shown as demonstrated by your life is how well did you adopt love as your framework? Okay. Do you love unconditionally at all times? And when we use the word love, you have to understand that right and wrong is an extension of love. Because when we choose to do something that we know is wrong, we're walking away from love. And that's the truth. So right and wrong is unconditional love, ultimately. So the thing that every human being must master in this life is unconditional love in all things, number one. Number two, this came up for me in my own life review, and it was how good was I at letting go, which is in the equation of life and abundant happiness, we call that subtraction because we use mathematical operators as applied to life. That's what the equation life and abundant happiness is. So subtraction is about letting go of those things that hurt us or people that hurt us. And I know in my life, I had multiple abusers that hurt me. And I carried that hatred and that anger in my heart. And I showed up that way because I didn't trust people. I didn't. And then that led to a life of isolation because when you don't trust people, ultimately you end up being closed off. Okay. So I learned in my life that I had to let go of those people that hurt me. And that wake up call that I got in the pool when I died was that reminder that I could never be free of my past until I forgive them for what they did to me. So subtraction, letting go is something that holds most people back in this life. They never get to achieve the highest level of vibration, the highest level of love, and you can't as long as you're carrying hardness in your heart towards others. So the second thing that came up for me, the most important thing I could share with you is learning how to let go. Okay. So number one, love. Number two, subtraction, letting go of things of people that have hurt us, things that have right. It doesn't, I'm not saying it's easy, but in the end, when you forgive somebody, it look at it this way, it's for you. It's not for them, okay? Because when you let that go, that 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 darkness that you carry in your soul goes too. And that allows the light to come back, you see? So until you let go of that, you're not going to get the light in the heart where you want it. So subtraction and letting go, don't think of it as, it is forgiveness for them, true, but it's really more about you and the health of your soul. Don't carry that. You don't need to carry it. Let it go. All right. Then the last thing is probably the most difficult thing to understand. And when I share it with people, everybody always wants to dive in and they want to ask more questions. And I will never do that. Okay. Because every single one of us is here on our own journey. We're here to learn what we need to learn in this lifetime. And the thing that we have to learn, the most important thing, love, subtraction. Number three is, can you find me from within? That's the question. Can you find me from within? Okay. When you learn how to find that from within, then you have the keys to everything. Because no matter where you go, no matter what life you're in, you always know how to return home. And that's why being able to light from within is so incredibly important. And it's a controversial thing to say, and I get that. But it's interesting when you truly understand what life is about and you see the illusions that exist in the world today that are actually just that, they're illusions. And when you see through the illusions, you find the truth. And the truth is that love heals everything. It is. Love heals all. And that's how I live my life today. Doesn't mean I don't get angry. Doesn't mean I don't get pissy sometimes. I still have an amygdala and I'm still a powerful man. But I really do lead my life with kindness and love and gratitude. Yeah, that's the name of my company. It's purelove.com. And we teach love to people and we teach love to companies that have ugly culture because ugly culture is a representation of the lack of love in a business. So if you want to fix culture in a business, you don't hire high price motivational speakers to rip you off, come in and do a big rah rah show and then take the motivation when they leave. What you do is you teach your employees how to balance their own emotional energy and how to find love, even at work. And it's amazing what happens when we treat people at work the same way we treat our family. It's an amazing thing called love. It actually does make the world work, and we need a lot more of it because the world is not in a good space today. You would agree with me there, wouldn't you?
Yes, thank you. I totally, love the three things you mentioned. I think, yeah, love is all around us. It's everywhere, but we need to notice that first and find it. And on forgiveness, I think, yes, it's so, so important because it's difficult. There is was an experiment done sometime, how you call it? A teacher asked a student to hold a brick for a minute. And how would your body feel? It's still okay. But what if you had to hold that same brick for an hour? You probably start trembling. and probably start getting tired. But what if you had to hold to that brick for a whole day? You probably would collapse by end of the day. And this is what happens when some kind of negative event occurred, or we had people
I
who hurt
love that
us
analogy.
and we
Love it.
carry all that heaviness. It wasn't, we don't have to. Suffering is optional. Everything, like all the like bad stuff will happen to us, but how long we choose to carry it is up to us. And it's not to say what they did is good. No, we're not saying that. But like you mentioned, for ourselves, we gotta let go, because imagine walking through life with this heavy backpack behind you, and every experience that comes into your life, you see through the lens of what has happened to you. Just like lemon cannot produce orange juice, it can only produce
Right. Right.
what's
Yeah.
inside comes out outside.
Right.
So
Yeah.
forgiveness is such an important element to our. In fact, I recommend to people practice forgiveness on a day-to-day basis. Don't carry a bad conversation with you
Amen.
into the
Yeah.
next day. Let
Yes.
leave it
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
Start each day fresh as new.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, today I walk with light in my heart, and it's like I gauge everything by the light that I carry. So in my world today, I'm hypersensitive to the light that I carry. And if there's negativity in my field, in my presence, I'm okay with it being present for a period of time. And then I will remove myself from the situation. Why? Because I don't want it affecting the light in my heart. So if I'm watching television and the news suddenly turns dark and it starts talking about political things, which sadly enough are negatively charged no matter what's coming at us today, I find it affects my heart. And so I change the channel. I'm not interested in hearing hate rhetoric from you or you. I don't want to hear hate at all. I'm sick of it. So I turn it off because it affects my light. So today I affect everything. So if I was short with somebody because I'm still human, I feel it. It affects my light. So I need to go find that human and fix that, because if I don't, I will remember and my light's not the same. It's like I got a shadow on my light today because I was short with that person. Today, I go fix that immediately. I go find that person. Hey, I could have handled that a little better. That's on me. Would you, I know I didn't lose my crap. I didn't yell at you, but I could have responded with a little bit more kindness. So would you forgive me for a short answer this morning? Cause I know I could have done better. You know what I mean? And then you fix it right then, because if you don't, it like the light gets covered up little by little. It's one conversation, another conversation, it's another conversation. And now my entire day is now dark because I didn't fix it in the very beginning. So all I can tell you today is I'm hypersensitive to light and dark. And I love the light. I don't like the dark at all. And no, I don't play with it. I don't allow it. And I love removing it from others. I love being the light that removes it from others, because that's what I do today. I help people find the light like I have so they can carry it with vigor and carry it with stability and carry it forever, right? Because that's what abundant happiness ultimately is. When we are 100% happy with who we are, exactly as we are in the moment, right here, right now. That's where abundant happiness lies. That's where I'm at every day. I mean, I'm human, so I do get my crap thrown at me, but what happens? I always stand back up. I always stand back up. And I use love to do it. Before it was hate. Before I would decimate the world around me and then stand up. Now, I lift everybody else up together. We rise together. That's how it should be.
Cool. Many people appear successful on the outside yet feel disconnected, exhausted, or empty inside. How can someone recognize that they're surviving rather than truly living?
I think you got to recognize that life is hard, okay? And recognize that we're all doing the very best that we can. But here's the real truth. You can't start living your life and being the best person until you love yourself. Okay. And as hard as that is to adopt, because I never loved myself. I hated myself. I didn't like that I had become so toxic and I had become so mean. And honestly, my nervous system was so jacked up from being abused as a kid and from constantly being defensive. So my nervous system was jacked up. So even though I had done therapy in the brain, my nervous system didn't match what was going on in my head. And that's also neuroscience. When you learn to reprogram the body and accept who you are deeply from within, okay? That's when you start healing. You start healing when you learn to accept yourself and recognize that even in the broken state, you're perfect, okay? That's important. You're perfect just the way you are. And don't let anybody tell you that you're not, okay? You're perfect the way you are. There may be some behaviors that need to be modified, okay? I had some behaviors that I exhibited that I needed to modify. But I've learned how to modify those behaviors by adjusting my nervous system, by using experiential learning. That's ultimately what I learned is that people, you don't change your nervous system by reading about it. Okay, that's the problem. If you want to change your nervous system, you have to experience it. You have to experience it real time in the body. So in the program, the way that I teach today, you're going to learn 101 experiences, and they're all rooted in the most beautiful pro-social emotions available: love, kindness, connection, gratitude. And you're going to go into the world and you're going to complete tasks. There's 101 of them. And in completing those tasks, you're going to find out who you are. You're going to find out how you show up in the world. And you're going to get a little bit nervous and you might get a little bit scared, but you will always be surrounded by safety and love. And love is the best teacher, right? So, yes, you have to love yourself. That's what I would tell anybody. Start right here. Look in the mirror and start by looking at the person. Look at your eyes in that mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. I know that sounds hard and it's weird to actually do it, but it's actually an exercise I do in my deck. Stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself and tell yourself that you love yourself, right? If you can't even do that, that means we got some shadow work we need to work on, right?
Yeah,
That's what that means.
totally. Thank you. What is one of those exercises? Would you like to share one?
I would absolutely love to share one. Okay. So this exercise is called gratogram. All right. And what gratogram is it's a wonderful exercise to not only create love in the world, but have it come back to you. And that's the most important thing about gratitude is to understand that it's about putting it out and then gratitude always comes back always. All right. So in this exercise, I want everybody that's listening today to do this and then watch what happens to your life and to your demeanor. Okay. So you take out your phone and you think of 3 people that have deeply touched your life. Okay. And then you open your phone and you turn on the camera and you start recording a video of you talking to this person. And it goes something like this. Hey, Mary, it's been a while since I shared something with you, but I want to share right here, right now, how thankful I am for you. I want to thank you for being my friend. You know, I've been through some challenges. I've had some ugly things happen in my life, and yet there was always a person named Mary who was always there for me, who stood by me when other people didn't stand by me, but you did. And, you know, I'm thinking of that time when we went on that road trip and we were walking down the beach and then you remember when I stepped on that thing and it ended up cutting my foot and I was bleeding everywhere and you came rushing and I kept teasing you that you carried a first aid kit and I used to tease you for being overly prepared and then here you are. You actually had it in your fanny pack and right then you took care of me. And that made me realize how incredibly important you were and how loving and how amazing you are. So I just want you to know, Mary, from the bottom of my heart, everything is good. Nothing's wrong with me. I'm actually abundantly happy. And I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate you. I love you and I see you. And I'm so, so thankful for having you in my life. Boom. You hit send. Okay. You send it to 3 people. I'm not, you know, they're not expecting it. And also, don't be a perfectionist. Speak from your heart, but do not re-record it. Okay. Don't do that. In fact, you're not allowed to retake on this exercise. Hit record and go. It should be about 2 minutes, and then hit send and then watch what happens. Okay. In about 15 minutes, maybe it's an hour later, you're going to get 3 videos coming back at you with people that are going to fill your heart with love and kindness and gratitude. And you're going to feel it. you're going to feel it. In fact, you might even start crying because those people are going to pour your heart. They're going to fill your heart with so much love. Okay. That's how this works. And then when you're done with that exercise, examine how you feel. Examine the difference that you made, and then realize that that goodness that you created, it's going to ripple. Okay. Because you changed the life of the person who got that video, and they're in a better mood today. And they're going to share their love and their light with other people around them, their family, their friends. So when we create goodness like this, it ripples forever. And that's what gratitude is. It's about creating ripples of love. So that's an example of just one exercise out of 101 that I've designed that'll bring goodness and will heal your heart from the light up there in here. Love.
Beautiful. I love it. And the best part that it's experiential. You don't
Yeah.
read it, you do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you realize that, here's the thing. We don't tell the people in our life how much they mean to us. Not enough. We don't. And COVID changed that in many people. We closed off. Our society has not recovered. You can see it. Okay. You can see it when you walk out in the world today. Everybody's walking around like this, right? We're zombies. And these things right here, these are literally, in my opinion, when I get to heaven the second time and I find Steve Jobs, I'm going to kick him in the balls. Okay. I'm going to kick him in the balls because hands down, that man changed our society. And I know the intention was good, but these things have ruined our society. We are the most disconnected we've ever been, and yet we're connected. What does that say about these devices? If you plot mental health in the form of suicides from the day that smartphones were released in 2013, look at the data and look at the trend. The data does not lie. These were some of the worst things we ever did to mankind. We hold it in our hands. Put the phones down. Connect to people. Connect like this. Have a conversation. Don't text people. Did you realize 80% of communication is nonverbal? 80. So why is it now that our primary communication is text message, which means we're only getting 20% of communication? And then you wonder why I have bad feelings because I didn't read that text message correctly? It's horrible. Quit texting people. Pick up the phone, at least call it, right? The voice is a great tool. Use it. Don't hide behind text messages. I call them pussy warriors. I'm sorry, that's a little off color, but I can't stand them. People that hide behind, you're just a little text pussy warrior. Grow up, man. Pick up the phone and be a man. Call me. Let's have this conversation. Right? Okay, I'm sorry, that was a little inappropriate, but nonetheless, I call it the way I see it. I'm a powerful man and I love fiercely.
If you could sit beside the version of yourself before your wake-up call, knowing everything you know now, what would you tell him?
Listening to this conversation, I keep thinking about how many people spend years disconnected from themselves, believing they are broken, unworthy, or too far gone to rebuild their lives. That's actually one of the reasons I wrote The Gift Inside, to help people reconnect with the strengths, worth, and light they already carry within them, even after painful life experiences. So if today's conversation resonates deeply with you, I'll include the link to the book in the episode notes.
Do it right now. Don't wait. And that's my message for everybody. Okay, look at your life right now. And if you're not happy with it, today's the day it changes. Okay, it changes today. Do something for yourself today. Okay, it changes today. I don't care how horrible of a person you are. Okay, you're a horrible person. Everybody tells you you're horrible. Okay, I heard that a billion times. And there was a lot of truth in it. I'm not going to lie. There was some truth in it. But you have to start with loving yourself. So go get a massage. Okay, go get your hair done. Do something to make yourself feel good. And then go stand in the mirror and know that deep down, there might be some behavior in you that needs corrected. Okay, there might be some behavior that needs to be corrected. But you know what doesn't need to be corrected? You. Okay, you're perfect just the way you are. Just the way you are. So don't wait. Start loving yourself right now today. That would be the first thing I would say.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's so important. And we hold the power to change a life. As I often say, we're only one decision away from reclaiming a life. We just have to make the choice, the decision.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
Anything that honestly, it's just to let go. Realize that, we all come here and we get a meat suit. All right. We get a meat suit. It's a body. It is just a rental unit. Okay. You're only borrowing it for a period of time and then you're going to return home. This is not home. This is a temporary space before we go back. Okay. So while you're here, make a difference. Make a difference and leave a mark in the planet that is based on love. Leave a mark on the planet based on love. And then when you return, things are going to be really easy for you on the other side. Okay. It really does. It makes a difference. So I would just tell you to walk in light and to walk in love and use love as your guiding light in all things. And everything works. It does. It works. Find the light, find the love, and everything will be fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you. If people would like to learn more about you, where would they go?
So my website is the best place to learn about what I do. It's purelove.com. I work with businesses and I work with people. I work individually and I also work in groups. We work on a donation basis when it comes to personal transformation because I didn't get into doing this for money. I got in it to help people heal. So I do work on a donation basis. The reason there's skin in the game is because this is shadow work. And shadow work needs some skin in the game in order to stay committed. Because there's going to be some days when you're like, I'm not so sure I want to do that exercise. Uh-huh. But you've got a number of reasons of why you're going to do it. Okay. Because you paid me to change your behavior, right? Is it
Oh, yeah.
worth it? It is. But it's always a donation because I never want people to not have an abundantly amazing life because they can't afford to. That's not okay with me. I've been blessed in that area, so I will always work with people based on a donation. So you can schedule 30 minutes with me for free. There's a link on my website. If you're interested on how to change your life and how neuroscience works, check out my website. It's purelove.com. Click the link, book 30 minutes, and I can spend some time with you and see if I'm a fit.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you. We'll include everything in episode notes. Thank
Yes,
you for experiencing such a profound effect on your life and now
thank you.
being able to share with others and help them change their life and find the love that they have within them. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Reclaim Your Life. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who may need this reminder today. You are not broken, you are not too far gone, and healing is possible. Sometimes reclaiming your life begins with one small moment of choosing yourself again. See you next time.